Hey friends, welcome into my channel. My name is Jackie Alves and I'm so excited today to show you some great looks using cool tone eyeshadows, lipsticks, and this really great eyeshadow palette. I'm going to show you today some beautiful gray shades, a little bit of a taupe in there. So I know I've gotten a lot of requests for those cool tones and I know they are super hot this season. So let's get into it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and don't forget to check out our members only area. You can join for as little as $2.99 a month. So chill with me and I'll see you on the flip side. All right, so here we go with that bundle of cool tones I promised you. So yeah, it's not always easy for me to do cool tones. I love a lot of warm, and especially since gold will get rid of so much redness in my skin. So I tend to head over to those warm tones, especially with blue eyes. But I know that cool tones are really hot right now. Funny, cool tones being hot, but it's real. And so, you know, I want to show you a great tutorial using cool tones. I'm going to use one of my favorite gray eyeshadow palettes that you've seen me use, and especially because when I do cave in and do those cool tones, everybody likes it. So right now I'm going to go ahead and use this spray primer that I love. I was eyeballing them because you guys know I'm pretty blind. I mean, visually challenged right now. So I had to make sure I wasn't going to spray on the wrong one. So I've got a spray primer right now. I've used it a couple times recently and I really like it because just get a nice kind of even layer. I even got it on my lips and my eyelids, but I still like to dry it just like my setting spray. So good, just lightweight coat of the primer. Now I'm gonna go into foundation. I'm gonna use my cream foundation out of my Graftobian palette today. These are like by the makers of RCMA makeup. It's just a great cream base makeup that offers great coverage. A lot of like Hollywood makeup artists use it. Really, really good stuff. So I'm gonna hop in with that. I'm gonna take a little bit out of a couple shades. Let me show you. So I'm gonna take one that's just a little bit on the neutral side here, and then I'll use a lighter shade right through the middle to highlight. So let's get cracking with that. So got a lot of foundation on already, but I left this big fat planet on my face so that you could see how easily I can color correct and conceal just using this one cream foundation. That's another reason I'm really loving this kind of pro level cream foundation, is because you don't need a whole lot of product to get great coverage. Now, don't even ask me what happened in my face there. You guys know I don't typically have gigantic goiters on my cheeks like that. But today as I was leaving, my husband was like, "Oh, what's on your face?" I was like, "Thanks, buddy." I said, "I don't know, like a goiter sprouted up overnight. Okay, thanks for noticing. Like, you know, you didn't tell me I was pretty yesterday when I felt like I looked good, but today you acted like I had a third eyeball growing off my face, so thank you." But anyway, he brought up a good point. We've been in the middle of a fast now for, I think, almost a whole week. And he said, "Oh yeah, I got one too. You know what? I think we're probably detoxing some gross stuff." And I thought, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not like the devil trying to get me. That's what it feels like. So anyway, some pretty good coverage right there with not a lot of product. And I'm leaving underneath my eyes. Most of you already know I don't put a bunch of product underneath my eyes till later because there's no point in that. I might get some fallout from this great eyeshadow I'm gonna show you. I might sneeze while I'm putting on my mascara. You just never know what's gonna happen to me. All right, so pretty decent amount of foundation there. I think it's done some great balancing and correcting from all the redness and all the other tragedies that have happened to my skin as of late. And so now I'm gonna just do a little bit of powder. I have this really great translucent face powder by LIMELIFE. I've used quite a few times recently. Love, love, love. It's really good at like matting down the skin and getting rid of pores. It just creates a beautiful veil on my whole face, but not cakey. I'm finding that this one doesn't settle into wrinkles like some of your like the colored powders or like banana powder sometimes can be a little bit thicker. It has fatter particles. So sometimes that settles into wrinkles, but this is just a great veil, and even put right there on the spot that I covered up, because it will just kind of seal the deal and get it ready for contour and blush, which is not going to be easy right there on that spot. All the spots, right? I guess at least it's not between my eyes. Wouldn't that be special? So let's hop into some powder contour. I don't want to do cream, especially with that. I just want to do a lightweight powder, but then I want to get into that beautiful, cool toned, soft glam I promised. So I'll be right back. So I've been using a pretty neutral shade of contour. I tried, you know, to stay really neutral. I'm not going to go with a cool contour because that tends to get a little bit gray on me. So just going right underneath my cheekbones, and I've got a nice rounded brush. I don't want to use like a fan brush or anything that's really heavy because it might just take that product right off that I tried to cover that giant planet up with right there. So this is just gonna almost feather it on, much lighter. Okay, and then I'm bringing it up in a little scoop towards my nostril. What I'm doing is trying to scoop up my cheek right here. Most of you already know that. If you have been hanging out with me on YouTube for any amount of time, you already know the jam with the contour, and you're probably a contour guru. So if you've been hanging out with me on YouTube for any amount of time and you are a contour guru, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And I'll do right underneath my jaw here because I'm trying to push your attention away from the turkey gobbler. And I'm gonna do a pretty cool look today. You know, you saw in the beginning when I did the opener video, I've got those great earrings on and kind of a little bit of a glam look. But I've got this sort of tuxedo vest on and just a black jacket over. So I'm gonna go for a little bit of a glamorous look, even though I'm still gonna do that nude lip. Okay, so I've got a decent amount of contour. I may choose to go back later and add more if I feel like chiseling in, but I think that's pretty decent. I don't need to, you know, chisel and cut and snatch and all the things that everybody wants to do. I'm just gonna keep it low today. I'm gonna keep it on the down low. Down low glam with Jackie Alves. So I'm trying to choose a pretty neutral blush. Now that's hard for me because I'm not a fan of a super pinky blush, but I did want to stay on the neutral side. So I'm going in with a little bit of this pink and a little bit of this. It's just a really great kind of a neutral shade of blush. It reminds me a little of terracotta, but not quite as warm. And it's gonna fade toward the nose, so bring it in. And you can get a little bit deeper with your blush at this point than you normally would, because once we do our concealer and everything starts to come together, it won't look quite as deep. Trust me, you might even go, oh, I could totally use a little more blush. I do that all the time. But remember, you know, we are following a map here. We've got a plan, and you have to trust the process. Don't forget to trust the process. And there's a reason why I'm doing a build-up like this. You guys, I always do like primer, foundation, powder, contour, blush, eyeshadow. I always do those steps because I've found it's a great kind of building process. Like when you're building a house, you don't start with the roof first. So building up from this base and then going, you know, you can do your eyes first or whatever you prefer, whatever you love with your own routine. But I'm finding this step-by-step process has worked really well for me. I've been a makeup artist for almost 34 years now. And now that I've said step by step, of course, I'm gonna sing it. Step by step, ooh baby, gonna get to you, girl. I know I heard that song when I came in today. I slept on a playlist and I was like, oh, here we go. So I just had to share it with you, so enjoy that. Okay, I'm gonna go in right now to this gray eyeshadow palette. You guys love this. Every time I use this, I get a million people asking me, oh my God, what is that color? So this is from my friends over at Red Aspen. Can't remember the name of this palette. Silver Playdate, haha. All right, Silver Playdate. The link will be in the description if you wanna pick it up. I'm gonna use this kind of light shade first, then I'll go into the gray. Then I'll use a little bit of that black. It's not like a real intense midnight black though. It's nice, easy to use black. And then there is a gray shimmer here. So I may use a tiny bit of that. I don't know, because it's a little bit dark on me. But you know, I wanna show you how to use this palette or anything similar. You know, like Elf even has a great palette that's just like this. ColourPop has a beautiful gray one. I think it's called Steel. And so, you know, you can find anything like this. But this is one of my faves, and because this eyeshadow is pretty intense, look at all that. I picked up so much powder just from a couple little taps. So I'm gonna go with that first lightest shade, And I'm just using it to buff on my entire eyelid. I always say from lashes to brows and side to side. Just get it on there. Now I'll go in with the gray shade, that lightest gray. I'm gonna use a big crease brush. And just, now when I get my eyeshadow, I don't, you know, dig in there. That's really key. Just bounce it in a couple of times, give it a tap. And then right in the crease, starting on the outer corner, I'll just gradually bring that product in and down to the lashes. And I'm just taking it easy. You can always go back and add more if you feel like you need to. And if you feel like you've gotten too much, you can go back with that other brush and buff it. So give yourself grace on this. If you've never tried anything like this, take it easy. You're just learning something new. So don't expect perfection, but you know, try to have fun with it. If this is a source of frustration for you, maybe try an easier routine. You know, if you're not enjoying the makeup process, maybe rethink it, because it shouldn't be like a source of misery for you. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the next one. I mean, I don't like doing my makeup every day, but when I come and hang out with you guys, I sure have a good time. Right in the crease of my eye, and just blending real easy. Bringing it up towards my brow. Remember, if you've got a hooded lid, you wanna bring this second shade up higher than you think. We always just get little teeny tiny eyeshadow in there, and then we're like, oh, why can't you see my eyeshadow when I open my eye? Well, it's because you need to bring it up higher. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up, and we'll get in with that black shade. I'm gonna show you how to just sort of flank the sides of your eyes in a simple way. So you can get in like full glam, you can go to town with this palette with your makeup if you like to do that. But you know, if you are visually challenged like myself and most of our friends here on this channel, you will appreciate the easy version of this eyeshadow look. So chill out, and I'll see you in just a second. All right, I'm back with an even smaller crease brush. It's not a teeny tiny one, it's just smaller than the other one I was using. I'm gonna grab that. It's not really black, you guys, it's just a really deep gray. So don't be afraid of it. And I'm gonna get right down to the lashes with it. And up into the crease slightly. And then just blend it over. Right down to the lashes though is really, really key. All right, let me grab my magnifying mirror. I wanna just make sure I'm doing a good job, because you know, when I don't have my glasses on, I'm using a regular mirror, it looks fabulous. All right, not too bad. And you just wanna make sure that you can transition it really well, that you can't see where one shade ends and the other begins. Super key. Get that nice blend. And see that bouncing motion that I use a lot, and then just a little bit of a swiping. So especially with deeper shades like this, I don't want to use the windshield wiper method, because I'm just going to throw it into the side of my nose, or you know, it's just going to be a disaster. So I like to use a real gentle bounce just to bring it up. And I think that's sufficient. I'll go ahead and do the other side, but before I head over there, I want to show you something. So get back into that deepest shade that we used, that dark gray. I'm gonna pick up just a little, and I'll do underneath in my bottom lash line. And now I've created a lot of extra like width to my eye. It makes it look much larger and wider, but just a little smoky shadow on the bottom, and then we'll do an eyeliner on top and give it that great definition. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's of course not perfect, but as I always say, ask me if I care. I'm doing my best here. But it's gonna look good in the end. When you get everything together, you're just gonna be like, oh, I look amazing, especially when you let your hair out of the rollers and you don't look as crazy as I do anymore. So I'm gonna do some eyeliner right now. I think I'm gonna go ahead and use my pencil. eyeliner. This is a fantastic long wear liner I just picked up from my friends over at LIMELIFE. I'll drop the link in the description, but it's black on one side and it's like a nude on the other side. So I like to use the nude down in my waterline. You don't have to do that. And you can actually just grab straight black if you want, but I have found this stuff is so long wear. I really am liking it. So I'll go ahead and get in and I'll start on the outer corner. Now you could use liquid and do a big fat wing at this point if you want, but I'm not going to. Down to the lashes, and it's gonna disappear halfway over. All right, now I didn't bring it all the way over. You can if you like to close off that lash line. I'm gonna leave mine open for right now. I'm gonna show you a trick when we get to lashes. That's why I'm leaving it for now. So creating a tiny wing. It's more of that fat triangle though. I'm not really intentionally trying to create a wing or a cat eye. Just making a really fat triangle on the outer corner. Especially with a hooded lid, I don't want to have this little tiny goofy flick coming up and it's, you know, kind of all disappeared into the hooded lid. So really just accenting the outer corner and that lash line. Just thicken up the lash line and it gives the appearance of thicker lashes. All right, not bad, not bad. Softening it up just a little bit. All right, well, okay, it's a little bit of a disaster, but I'm gonna show you a quick way to fix that. So I'm gonna grab like this little tiny smudger brush. It's a slant brush. And if I feel like my eyeliner's not great or, you know, it's jumped the speed bumps a little bit, I can just go in and smudge it out. So it gives it more of like a smoky liner effect. And then there's not the pressure to get it perfect either. All right. It actually looks really pretty. So I'm really satisfied with that. I'm gonna get in with this silver shade. I told you I was probably gonna use a little bit. Now I'll show you what I meant by probably gonna use a little bit. Right on my ring finger, I'll put some right in the middle, but I skipped that really tiny inner corner area just to blend it right into that gray shade. Because see, like I said, it's a little dark on me and I like to keep that bottom inner area of my eyelid light and bright. But now I'm gonna go in with this white highlighter that I have in my contour palette. It's like a white diamond shade. You see me use it a lot. And a small, tiny little brush, and I'll just get into that inner corner area, and that's gonna help brighten it up. So check that out. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Just brightened it right up and then blend it right over into the silver. It's so funny that I normally wear so many warm toned like eyeshadows and blushes, lipsticks, but then I'm obsessed with silver jewelry. I know, I'm kind of weird. So I'm gonna go back to that crease brush that I was using, the first crease brush that I used for that light gray shade, and just make sure everything is transitioned nice. So just more of a blend right now. Super blend. All right, I feel like I may want to deepen it up on this side a little bit. For right now, I'm okay. Again, I'm gonna trust that process. So let me deepen up my brows with a little brow powder, slap on some mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, got the lashes, the brows done. Going in with my favorite of all time. Everybody knows this incredible BioLab Caffeine Eye Serum. I'm gonna put just a little bit directly under my eyes. I'm not gonna mix it with my concealer today like I normally do because I'm gonna use a cream concealer. I'm gonna use that great like pink highlighting concealer I got from Smashbox, and I absolutely love it, but I need that extra hydration under here first. Even though I was super hydrated, you guys know I'm a sucker for a good eye cream. but even still, using this because it's really cooling. It feels amazing under my eyes, but it adds moisture and it really works so well with concealer. It keeps my concealer looking luminous much longer, and it doesn't get as creasy. Now, if you're gonna use a ton of concealer and it's some crazy like cream concealer or a really drying liquid concealer and it's gonna crease, you know, it just is what it is with that. But I use a super light layer. This is that illuminating concealer I was telling you about. Again, this is from Smashbox. They, I believe, did a collaboration with Becca Cosmetics. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on the inner corners and begin to tap it out. Look how that brightens. Now you can use a concealer brush as well, and sometimes I do both. Like I'll tap it in and get it really warmed up with my ring finger, because warming those cream products up really helps them be smooth and go on beautifully. All right. God, you guys, I cannot believe that. I know you've heard it a million times. Everybody's saying, oh, I can't believe we're in 2026 already. But not just that, but that we're barreling towards February already. Like, it's not like Happy New Year anymore. It's like we're barreling into February. And I'm going to be speaking at a women's conference in February. I'm super excited. It's called Hearts Being Healed here in Arizona, where I live. And I'm the keynote speaker, and I'm going to be talking a lot about my testimony and specifically about my marriage and my testimony there, how God redeemed a lot of things that happened between my husband and I after he had a toxic brain injury at work. So I was in for the ride of my life after that. We'd only been married a year, and then he has a brain injury, and I was like, who is this? So anyway, it was a pretty interesting few years. So I'm getting excited for February. That's why I bring it up. I love talking about what God has done in my life and the freedom that he's given us. So it's gonna be good stuff. All right, what do you think of this? Super bright under the eyes, huh? Looking good. I'm gonna grab my blush brush and just back blend a little bit. And trying not to irritate the planet Pluto over here on my face. Now I'm gonna go into some lipstick. Now that's hard for me when it comes to cool shades, because man, I really love a warm pink, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you have the same problem trying to find a nude that doesn't turn orange on you. So finding a nice pink nude is really hard for me. So I'm gonna use this mauve lip liner I've used a lot of times. You can tell because it's getting little, and it's a really, really light shade, but I love it. I love a good nude lip that's really pink. But I'm gonna use this weird lip stain one of my friends gave me. It's a very neutral, like it's almost a gray pink, you guys, and I feel like I have to get into like that gray pink to keep it from getting so orange on my lips. So let me know, you know, if you have that problem. I don't have a link to that lip stain or anything, but what I can do is recommend that you look for a pink that it feels like it's a little on the gray side. That will help cancel out the orange if you're like me and you get that all the time. All right, just a little bit of concealer on my lips is gonna help hold that liner. Oh, I can see I missed a spot under my eyes. See why magnifying mirrors are so bad? You see things nobody should see. Now I'm gonna go for the Cupid's bow first, and don't forget to flatten out that lip line. And I'm of course doing an overline. I cannot resist an overline. All right, I'm gonna do the bottom lip, and notice I'm doing a couple layers because that helps that lip liner last so much longer. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, we've been getting some great response on those comments I'm making to those rude people that are saying horrible things about me, like they think I'm a man, or, you know, that eyeliner is stupid, or you look old. Or one time I said in a video, Oh, people tell me all the time that I don't look 50. And that makes me feel good, of course, right? I don't really care. I'm going to be 52 this year, whatever. But, of course that makes us feel good when we get a compliment. And then people were like, oh, you look at least 60, like being super rude. So I said, at first I was like, thanks for watching. I was trying to be all nice, right? Because my son was like, my editor, he's like, do not engage with the rude people. And then I noticed, and I've told you guys this before, some of the beautiful women in my makeup classes and some of the ladies on my team, it makes them think twice about posting on social media. They're like, oh my God, there's mean people out there. So I started saying we shouldn't put up with that. Mind your manners. And so I've noticed since I started saying that, a lot of our subscribers and friends here on YouTube are joining in and saying, yeah, mind your manners. And I think that should be a thing because, people are like, oh, you open yourself up to that when you're on YouTube. I don't think so. Because if I step out on the street, I shouldn't open myself up to being run over, or be called names. People need to mind their manners. And I think so also in the internet world. We have young women who are trying to get on here and share their talents. So mind your manners, you old crab. That's my PSA for the day. All right, I'm gonna fix this lip line. And since I am a little old and I couldn't see my lip perfectly, I didn't get it straight. But you know what? I will survive. Whoa, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. All right, I have this lip stain that I told you about. Now you'll see what I mean by grayish pink. But it's the only one that's not getting orange on me. I don't know what that is. It's got to be my lip pigment, of course, because it doesn't do that on everybody. But if you struggle with that, you may want to try this. Here, let me show you the shade a little bit closer. See what I mean? It's like a mauve, but not. Because most of the time, mauves get really berry pink on me. So I have a hard time. So I hope that helps you guys. Sorry that I don't have a link for that brand, but I think that'll help you find a shade if you know better what to look for. And that is a lip stain, so it's a little bit sticky. That's okay because it's long wear. I'll do what I got to do to get that stuff to last. Oh, where's my lip gloss? But I'm gonna put clear gloss on top because I need that moisture. So just a nice, pretty clear gloss. All right, I think I'm looking pretty dang good. Let's go ahead and pop on some falsies. All right, you'll have to excuse the glare and the glasses because again, I need to see what I'm doing. This is intense. So I've already got one lash on and I'll show you in just a minute, but I have my other lash here already in my lash applicator tool. I'm gonna use the Ardell Naked Lashes, the number 420. They are so dang cute, these little dudes. They look just like you've got a great mascara on and they're pretty easy to apply because that Invisiband is really nice to work with. But I just tried a new glue. This is by Duo, one of my favorite brands for lash glue. But this is a new one that has rose water and something else in it that's supposed to be really great for you, like rose water and aloe or something in it, but it has no formaldehyde and no latex in it. So when I saw no bad stuff, let's add good stuff, I was like, sweet, let's give it a whack and see what happens. And it actually works. Because then I thought, well, it's probably not gonna work then. Who wants to put rose water in their lash glue? Probably makes it not stick, but I was wrong. They proved me wrong. This is actually a really great lash glue. So I'll tell you how you can find it. It's the Duo brand, but it's got lavender font. So I'm really liking it, you guys. I'm glad I tried it because normally, like I said, I get a little skeptical, oh yeah, right. Who needs rose water in their lash glue? But okay, let's get it. So don't forget to let the glue get tacky. Blow on it if you've got a fan. If your husband's nearby, tell him to blow on your lashes, whatever you gotta do. And now pop it on, concentrated mostly on the outer corner because I've trimmed it a little bit too. So it's more like a half lash really. Oop, I got my hair sticking out down there. There we go. All right, and right in that black eyeliner that I applied, that's gonna help disguise the band. So that way it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it on perfectly, which is good because I don't. I never do. I can't get it on perfectly. All right. Not super happy with it, but give it a little, like pinch my lashes and the false lash together, and that will usually help. There we go. It helps it kind of like get in line, like do what you're supposed to do. Now, even still, I don't always feel super confident about the way that it goes on. So I can take my eyeshadow. I like to use like a black or really, really deep brown eyeshadow and tap that lash band with that little slant brush. It's the same one I use on my eyebrows, or yeah, just a little slant brush. And I'll show you what you can do with it. Just grab a little tiny one. I'm actually gonna use a black eyeshadow for this because I don't wanna use brown for obvious reasons. I'll take just a little black eyeshadow, tap it off. So you don't want to get a bunch of fallout, right? You don't want to get black eyeshadow all over the place. And just get in there and tap on the band, right where you put your eyeliner. It'll help smoke out that band a little bit and disguise it. Also, because you're pressing on it, it helps you know that it's on really nice and secure. All right, I've got that lash band closed off with a little bit of extra black powder like I told you, and now I'm gonna go in with that nude eyeliner and quickly line my waterline. Now, if you wanted to take the black and do your tight line up on the top, you can do that, but I'm just not gonna do that. I don't see good enough for all that jazz. But you gotta make a really weird face to get in there. And it kind of opens up the eye, brightens it up a little bit too. So that's a great little trick if you can do that. And that particular brand does kind of stay put. Some of them, it's like they're just gone as quick as you can put them on, especially those white ones. But that nude one really is a great stay put. Now for my setting spray, I'm gonna go ahead and use that Laura Geller one that I like. This is the one that has electrolytes in it. It's called Spackle Spray, which I think is ridiculous, but it's a good product, just a weird name. And it's a really fine mist. So I think you'll like it if you wanna give it a try. It was fairly spendy, but it's a good size bottle. And it smells nice. It's pretty hydrating for the skin, but also it keeps the makeup looking hydrated as well. And I don't mean like dewy finish, you know, like shiny. It just looks like plumpy, hydrated kind of thing. Plumpy. I don't know what that means. Anyway, so let's go ahead and take these wacky clips out of my hair. Now today I rolled with like a 1.5 inch barrel. So a little bit of a fat curl, and then I ratted just a tiny bit at the root, not a lot, because I'm trying not to damage my poor dry gray hair, but you know, just enough to give a lift right before I rolled it. And then I clipped each curl with one of those little clips, so it would have some extra volume. God knows I need it. So I may wind up with Miss Texas hair today. We'll see what happens, but that's okay. Because, you know, Miss Texas is cool. All right, let's put on my funky earrings too. I really like these crazy like punk star earrings my daughter got me. They give me like a 80s or 90s vibe, which probably my hair is gonna have that too. So we'll have a whole theme working. I don't know if you guys have noticed, 90s makeup is making quite a comeback with you guys remember Pam Anderson's brown lip liner with pink lipstick, like a baby pink, making a huge comeback right now. And not just with us 90s, 80s and 90s chicks either. I think Gen Z is really picking up on that trend. I can see it everywhere I go. Okay, yeah, Miss Texas is in the house. All right. This is definitely a hairdo today, you guys. All right, let me perfect this a little bit. All right, all I can say is yes, it looks amazing. I love it. I love the cool tones and the gray and silver together. I hope you do too. You guys, I hope that you loved today's video. I hope you give some of these tips and tricks a try, whether you are visually impaired like myself or whether you have perfect vision. Give it a whack and see what you think. You guys, thank you so much for being with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.